this episode, we are going to talk about the most tranquil and peaceful park at Walt Disney World. So, stick around. Hello, friends, and welcome to my side of the laundry room. My name's Rob, and in this episode, we continue on with our Walt Disney World Week celebration here at the channel. In this episode, we talk about the fourth and final park that we went to while at Walt Disney World, and that is the Animal Kingdom. I think it's unanimous among my family that Animal Kingdom is our favorite park. And it's not because of the rides or the spectacle, it's because it's relaxing. It's a very tranquil place that allows you to go at your own pace. I mean, other than a few bigger rides that are there, you can kind of punch your own ticket and go about your day the way that you want to. With that being said, we began our day at Animal Kingdom in the middle of all that hustle and bustle of chaos that we thought we left behind at the Magic Kingdom. And that is because everybody was trying to get to probably the biggest ride in the park, if not all of Walt Disney World, Avatar Flight of Passage. And we were able to get on with no problem. There's a small line, but there's just something so nice to be within the Pandora area that even being in the line while it's still outside, you have a lot to look at. Because they have done such an incredible job of just landscaping with natural plants and weaving in things that the Imagineers have created off of the James Cameron movie. So the time that we did spend in line outside was pretty cool. By the time we got inside, I mean, there was a lot to look at, and it was really neat. Now, it doesn't have the same nostalgic or emotional punch of like seeing things in line for, say, Smuggler's Run, being in the hangar and seeing droids and weapons and ships and things like that. I mean, we get to walk through a lab for the Avatar project, and there's an avatar in a tank moving like in the movie, different things here and there on desks, and I mean, it's very interesting to look at, but it kind of lacks that oomph that Galaxy's Edge does. Maybe as more movies come out in his franchise, which he's planning on, maybe some of this stuff will feel more alive and awesome, but for now, I mean, it is what it is, and it's pretty cool. Anyway, this is the first time that we've been able to ride Flight of Passage since it's been constructed. We've been to the park many times, and Pandora has been there, and we've been able to enjoy other aspects of it, but we've never been able to do Flight of Passage, mostly because of my son's height. So luckily this year, he was tall enough, and we were all able to enjoy it. And after being on the ride, I can see how height requirements are important because it's a very unique seat, and I can see smaller kids and guests having a hard time being secure within this seat, if you want to call it that. Now, if you don't know, you actually sit on the back of a Banshee, and they do a great job of creating a motorcycle type of instrument to sit on. And the way that it locks you in, it's not a strap, it's a brace that comes up against your back, like a hydraulic boom, and holds you there. Very unique. And the ride itself, I mean, it takes a lot of inspiration from Soarin', because you are on a back of a Banshee in front of a huge screen, and, you know, you go upon this journey of flying across Pandora. What was cool about the ride, before we get into other things, was the actual movie itself, the Avatar movie of Pandora that was playing, because you got to see new wildlife, new places of the planet, like the oceans that you didn't see in the movie. There were these huge whale things that jumped out of the water, and they were awesome. Now, the ride itself, the seating, I can see how this could be the wave of the future, that you could potentially do away with some aspects of roller coasters, because there were parts of the ride where I honestly felt like I was on a roller coaster just from how they pitched the seat, spun the screen, and had air blowing at you. It really felt like you were moving and doing corkscrews and turns and diving, and it was truly amazing. And kind of like Soarin', it's, a huge IMAX screen, and when you kind of look around, you can see that there's people sitting over on the other side, that there's people down below you. I didn't look up, there could have been more people there. I'm not really sure the capacity of the ride, but it was awesome. And I highly recommend everyone try it. Oh, and a super cool thing too was, as you're sitting on the back of this Banshee, it has like bladders on the side that move. So it actually feels like the creature is breathing, and you can feel it, on your legs as it's, breathing in and out. It's a very neat effect and very cool. Very immersive. I mean, super cool. My kids are usually scared of thrill rides. I mean, it's a fight to get them onto like some of the smaller roller coasters like Slinky Dog, but afterwards they enjoyed it. This, they didn't know what to expect. They went in spry and happy, no whining, no arguments, sat on there, and they came off of the ride loving it. It was my son's favorite ride of the whole trip, and I have to say, it's up there for me. It's definitely in my top 5. I mean, just an awesome experience. After that ride, we just quickly went right into the queue for the Navi River journey, and it is what it is. It's a great, relaxing ride. You get to see some awesome sights, some really neat animatronics, some really neat effects. It's just really cool. Yet again, I mean, I love the Pandora world. I think it's really neat. I love the creatures. I love the ecology and all that. But like I said, it just doesn't have that same punch as like Star Wars does, or even the Toy Story Land. But at the end of the day, it's truly awesome. I mean, if you haven't been there, I mean, they have some of the big mechs that were from the movie walking around. We saw wreckage from some of the ships that were flying in the movie that we'd never seen before, like in the brush and stuff. So, I mean, even being there a couple of times and thinking you know the lay of the land, you learn new things, you see new things, and it's really neat. After that, we made our way over to the Kilimanjaro Safari. One of our favorite things to do while at Animal Kingdom is to do the safari. It's been said many times that Disney kind of does it right, that these animals are able to live in a somewhat normal habitat, and they aren't behind bars, and it's the line of sight and things like that that keep them safe and everyone safe around them, including the other animals. And yeah, it's a nice way to just feel like you're on an African safari for however long the ride is, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And you see some really incredible sights and some really incredible animals. Every time, I mean, we just love it. I mean, we love animals as a family, and we just love the experience of being on the safari. It's weird, as I sit here and I'm looking at my list of rides and activities that we went on while at Animal Kingdom. Now, it's not the least. I mean, looking at how I've numbered everything, Hollywood Studios, we actually did the least in. But it's hard for me to remember the roadmap that we followed while in Animal Kingdom because, like I said, you go at your own pace. I mean, if you want to, like we did after the safari, you go on one of the nature trails, and there you get to see animals, and we went into an aviary and saw different birds and things like that, and that was really cool. I mean, I love that kind of stuff, and I love the relaxation of going on these little treks by yourself, well, as a family, but by yourself because you can walk for many, many minutes and not see another living soul. I mean, something that's very rare at Walt Disney World. And it's kind of a nice way to end the vacation because as you're jammed packed with people at all the other parks, clamoring to get on the same rides and eat the same things and buy the same things. It's just nice to have those moments of, wow, it's just my family and me looking at animals, quiet, tranquil, like I said, just very nice. Anyway, after that nice, quiet time with the family, it was time to jump back into the fray and see human beings again, as we went to the celebration of the Festival of the Lion King. Now, this is a favorite of ours to see at Animal Kingdom, and we always have a great time. It's a great mixture of animatronics and performances, like singing and fire twirling and gymnastics. Well, I take that back. It was missing the gymnastics this time. I don't know if it's COVID related or not, but the show was different. It was more compact. It was missing some of the performances, like the gymnastics, and because I remember vividly loving it that they had a portion of the show where it was the monkey representatives of the jungle doing acrobatics on trampolines and flips, and it was just a really cool presentation. And it was not there this time. So it kind of stuck out in my mind that it was different. Another thing that it was missing was there was a dance routine. I think it was like from the bird emissaries, that they were, like suspended in air on ribbons or rings or whatever, and, like dancing in the air, and just a really beautiful thing. But this time they just did their dance on the stage, and yeah, it was just kind of lacking. Everything else about it ruled. I mean, as usual, the singing is awesome, and it's just a really fun, great experience to go to. After that, we went to the It's Tough to Be a Bug show, and it's amazing that as many times as we've seen that show, the kids still get scared. I mean, I think it's the darkness, the animatronics that kind of just pop out of nowhere, the 4D aspect of it, of feeling things bumping into you, under your seat, under your feet. But yeah, it's just amazing that they still lose it. And it was funny hearing other people in line mirroring that same thing, that their kids still have the creeps over this ride. But it was good fun no matter what. I mean, the kids afterwards laughed it off and just enjoyed it. After a while, we found ourselves on the other side of the lake, as we kind of wandered around, and my wife and I both wanted to ride Expedition Everest. We never had before, and since we were doing this ride swapping thing, which I never seemed to benefit from it anyway, we decided we were going to do it. And we got the kids a snack. My wife went off to Expedition Everest, and when she came back, she said she loved it. She said it was a great roller coaster, great aesthetics to it, and she had a great time. But I did it to myself, where I did not take the opportunity to get on it, because I just felt like we still needed to power through. There were some things we still needed to see, and I didn't want to waste the time, standing in line and getting on it. I mean, even though she said the single rider line went very quickly, it just, I just didn't want to be nailed down to that, and I just wanted to keep going on our journey. And after that, we went to the boneyard. The kids love playing, within the bones and the rocks and climbing the jungle gym stuff. I mean, it's just a fun break again, because we can just kind of sit there and let the kids play, because it's an enclosed area and it's safe, and yeah, it's just a nice relaxing time. The kids have fun. I mean, because honestly, for the week, they kind of get told where they're going and what we're doing. This is a time where they can do what they want and explore and run around and just enjoy themselves. Oh, and my only negative, and it's a pretty big negative, is the Kite Tales show. This is the new show that they're doing within the lake. They got rid of Rivers of Light, which I cannot understand why. That was a beautiful show that I am here to admit that the 2 times I was able to see it, I cried. I openly wept at how beautiful it was and the message that it told us about nature and living within this world. Yeah, I'm secure enough to say I cried like a baby, and that show has a special place in my heart. But they replaced it with Kite Tales, which is a daytime show that happens a lot. We thought it was, we've got to rush and we've got to get there, we got to see it, but the more time we spent within the park, it seemed like it was happening every 15 minutes. And there were different shows. The one we caught was the Lion King one, and we saw later that there was a Jungle Book one. But it is neat. I mean, it's these huge kites of like Zazu flying over, and Simba, and Timon and Pumbaa, and the music's playing. It is kind of neat, but when you compare it to what they got rid of for that, it just, yeah, it hurts. It's, like I said, the only negative about Animal Kingdom that I have. Now, there were a few things on our itinerary that we weren't able to get to, but we kind of counterbalanced that with doing new things. The one thing that I wanted to do that we weren't able to, and it's another away off the beaten path relaxing activity, is to take the train to the conservation station and see the petting zoo. Now, I knew the kids would love to do that, and yeah, it's just a fun family activity, but we got kind of wrapped up in doing some new things. And probably the longest line that we waited in at Animal Kingdom was for the Kali River Rapids, which we've never done before, and it was great. It was a fun ride, and I think what made it even better was the family that we were in the raft with were, I mean, they reacted so overly and funny to the big splashes, and there's a big drop in it that we didn't expect, so that was really fun. But to share that experience with another family that was like over exaggerated just really made it super fun, and I mean, I can't wait to ride it again. It was just a really good time. Another new thing that we did was catch a show called Feathered Friends in Flight. Now, every other time that we've been to Animal Kingdom, this has been paired with the movie Up, because they would have the character of Kevin and Russell at the show. I guess with the whole COVID thing and not having characters around, they removed those two, so it didn't seem as overly popular as it did in past years. So we were quickly able to get in, find a seat, eat some popcorn, relax, and see a really just entertaining and informative show about different birds. I mean, everything from your common chicken, which we have an active interest in now that we have chickens, to these huge raptors that Disney has saved and are using them for this educational purpose. I mean, it was really great, really cool. I mean, an owl flew over the crowd and was like this far from the top of my head. It was amazing and really cool. The rest of the day, we just kind of meandered around the park, did some shopping. My wife and son had to backtrack back to Pandora to make a bit of jewelry, because in the shop there you can make your own necklace or bracelet, and we did that earlier in the morning, but my son lost the bracelet and he was kind of bummed about it. So we decided, what the heck, let's just go make another one. And those two went and did that. My daughter and I watched the otters for a while till we all joined back up, and you know, just a relaxing time. You don't feel rushed. You actually feel like you have time to look at the shops and not have to be shoulder to shoulder with people or scalpers buying the stuff to sell on eBay or whatever. And really cool thing, this shirt, before we went, I saw it advertised on the Shop Disney app, but I was like, no, I'm going to buy it at the park. That'll make it a little bit more special. But everywhere we went at Walt Disney World was sold out of it. The only size they had available were the kids' sizes, and I was starting to get pretty bummed about it. I jumped on Shop Disney thinking I'll just order it and it'll be waiting for us when I get back home. But it was even sold out online, and I thought, oh well, I missed my opportunity. Well, that opportunity popped its head up while we were at Animal Kingdom. I guess because people, when they go there, don't really think about buying the Halloween stuff, but a couple of the shops were really stocked on the Halloween decorations and shirts and things like that. And it was really cool, and super happy that I was able to finally get it. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing this now in November, it's because I'm actually filming this on Halloween Eve. Tomorrow's Halloween, so I'm still in the Halloween mood, and I'm gonna let that flag fly. Anyway, I'm gonna cap this off with probably the only negative of the whole Animal Kingdom trip this year, and that was where we ate dinner at, and that was Rainforest Cafe. We just thought that would be a fun place for the kids to eat, to find something that they actually will eat. I mean, we expected the menu to be, hamburger, hot dogs, and chicken tenders for them, and it did, but it just was a weird experience. The place smelled funky. I mean, the animatronics and ambiance of the place is cool, but I think after being out in the Disney magic all day, when you come into a third-party establishment like that, it just didn't fly for us. So, like I said, it was kind of a negative way to end our day at the park, because after that, the park was closing and we headed back to the cabin. But, I mean, I hate saying any negative things, but I'm sharing with you our experiences while there. Anyway, that was our Animal Kingdom Odyssey for 2021. And yeah, Animal Kingdom was just a good way to end the trip. I mean, we spent a few more days at Walt Disney World, but none of those were in the parks. They were just pool days and shopping days and just relaxing days before we hit the road for the 16-hour drive home. Anyway, it's just a great way to end your Disney park adventure. To go to Animal Kingdom and just be relaxed, to be in quiet, to see wondrous sights of nature, and just relax and be chill and have fun. So that's how we ended things, and that's how I'm going to end the park portion of this week. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down below, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.